Islam. But deep stuff, absolutely. Yeah, and of course, that's why I enjoyed so much teaching at the Muslim College in London, and still have students from those days who are now friends, scattered all over the Islamic world. Yeah. But yes, of course. So, but I've also studied Christianity for many years, and Judaism and the Kabbalah. All as I said, I'm a universal general of knowledge. Yeah. Anyway, look, that's enough from me. I want to just say, that's what I'm offering, is this mediation, okay? Why? Because I want to prevent World War III. Now look, my concern is that, and I want to say this in private before we get Trump on the phone, right? I know that you will be under huge pressure to launch some kind of revenge attack. You will have generals and military types breathing down your neck saying, let's go and bomb whatever we can, American assets all over Iraq. Yeah, and they're presenting plans right as we speak, yeah. Well, sir, my concern about this is, yes, you can do that, and you could probably hit a few targets, yeah. The problem is, you see, that America, by which I mean USA, is kind of, yeah, the dark forces there, the cabals that want war, actually want you to do that. I know, and the minute you fight back, and if you launch some attacks, they have then said, and Trump, you know, he rules with a tweetocracy, said he's going to hit all these targets inside Iran. Yeah, that's what the Americans do. That's how they fight warfare. They just bomb you from above. Yeah, it's a completely cowardly way of fighting, but it's very, very effective. I realised this when I went to Monte Cassino and discovered that the American Air Force had bombed the Abbey without agreement or pre-warning. Yeah, it was a war crime, unbelievable. But that's how the Americans do it. They do heavy bombing. It's how they did Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It's how they did in Vietnam, although unbelievably they weren't able to conquer Vietnam, even though they bombed it to smithereens. Yeah. Yeah, bombs, I know. But this is the problem, you see. They will bomb you to absolute, like, the Dark Ages. And as you know, there are people now inside, yeah, who are saying, I mean, you know, there are even people saying they would want to use nuclear weapons on you. Yeah, I mean, they are that crazy. There are certainly voices saying that. You see, so if you were to attack, say, I don't know, 100 sites, right, they would then unleash God knows what firepower and revenge. And so then, of course, you would then unleash firepower against, I don't know, you won't be able to hit mainline America, but you might be able to hit Israel. Yeah, you've got rockets there and so on. You might do some damage there. Yeah, but you know very well, don't you, that of course Israel would then retaliate immediately with nuclear weapons. And that's the end of Tehran, that's the end of Qom, that's the end of Shiraz. All these amazing places would be reduced to rubble like Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Are the Israelis that mad? I don't think as a people they are. No, but I think Netanyahu is, and I think he is itching for this fight. Yeah, not least because he's now sentenced, he's facing charges of bribery and corruption and all kinds of stuff. He's going down slowly. The Israeli legal system is itself taking him down. Yeah, I think about time, really. I mean, he really is bad news because of his intransigent hostility towards peace, which goes back to his father. His father was a real warlord, a fan of Jabotinsky, a hater of the British, a hater of compromise, a fanatic, yeah, and the son is like the father. Yeah, no hope for the Palestinian peace process whilst these people are running the show, types like that. So, of course, what they want is an excuse to come and bomb you with nuclear weapons. America wouldn't, you know, they won't stop them. And, of course, then the problem is, yes, I mean, this is horrendous. I apologise, sir, that we should be even talking like this. It's absolutely unbelievable to me that anyone, yeah, I know, but I'm just ringing to warn, really, because, and what I'm afraid of, sir, is the nobility of character of the Iranian sense of honour. You might feel duty bound because of the death of this general who you and your countryman held as a hero, you might feel duty bound to do some retaliatory action. I know those are the voices you will be hearing as we speak. But if you do that, I'm just saying there will be unbelievable consequences, and it will not bode well for Iran. You see, Iran, there's no way in a million years you can defeat the Americans in a war. You will self-destruct as a nation. I mean, I don't want to live through that. I can't have that on my conscience as a peace activist, peace thinker, and you know, it would be an utter nightmare, and not least because millions of noble, good, amazing Iranian people will die in that. I have friends in Iran. I can't sit back and watch this happen. No, I mean, you know, if it helps, I'll you know, come and give philosophy classes in Com, you know, and on peace, yeah, and we'll invite American academics to come and do some discourse, yes. No, so you see, what I'm saying is that instead of retaliating, go the legal route. I mean, you're a professor of law, you understand law, you know how the UN works. Go to the UN in person. Eyeball the Secretary General of the UN. He has appealed for peace and moderation. Your speech at the opening of the UN General Assembly in September was brilliant. You're a master of rhetoric and diplomacy. Yeah, Trump's speech was unbelievably, crass. I know that. But the thing is, look, let's be gentle on the man. He's not an intellectual. He's a businessman. He doesn't know, I mean, how to... Yeah, that's why he can only govern by tweeting. I mean, I don't think he can speak otherwise. So send in your top lawyers, try and prosecute America through international courts, pull out every stop in the international legal arsenal to prosecute America for this illegal act of war. And by showing that you will take revenge legally in the courts, push for compensation for the family, you know, 10 billion, whatever, minimum payment to the family of this great general. And you will have allies, yes, you will have Russia, you will have China, you will have hopefully the European Union, you know, all moderate forces in the world will rally to that legal route. Yes, I mean, the international human rights profession, that's what we are based our work on, of which you are a distinguished member. Yeah, I take my hat off to you as a member of the Academy of Experts even in Iran. You know about constitutional law. And so therefore, sir, you understand that the American people themselves have problems with Trump. Yeah, it appears he's broken their laws even, the laws of their constitution, yes. He's not only committed an act of war criminality against your country, but he's also implicated the American people in that. Yeah, there are voices now complaining against this. I wouldn't be at all surprised if you sit back and watch this unfold, if you act with disciplined legality, if you pursue this through the international courts. Yeah, I think it might be added to the impeachment charges, precipitating an international war. You know, this is technically a war crime. There are professors who've said as much. And I found one from Yale Law School who said that that this is a war crime, and that if it's not prosecuted, it makes a mockery of the Constitution. Yeah. So there are many voices that in the America, in Europe, in Britain, and internationally who will support you in this route. So that's my advice. Please take my mediation offer. I'm going to talk to Trump in a minute, as soon as we've finished, and I'm going to see if, he can agree to this too, because I don't think it's in America's interest to have a World War III either. Certainly not in the interests of most ordinary, decent Americans. I have many, many friends in the USA. Yeah, it's not in anybody's interest, apart from a tiny coterie of people who are bunkering in with Trump, like Pence and Mike Pompeo. These people are fanatical. Yeah, it's like Hitler's bunker. They're all bunkering in and they're going to fight. Yes, where did they get their implacable hatred to Iran? I think it's kind of psychological, really. I mean, obviously it's inspired by Israel, but where did Israel get it from? Because Israel, yes, I know there's this very weird thing, isn't there, that seeing Israel as the absolute truth, and and Iranian Islam as the absolute enemy. It's very what we call Manichaean. Mani, yes. Well, he was sort of somewhere between Jesus and Muhammad as a kind of free-floating Gnostic from your region. Slightly too doom and gloomy for me. I mean, I admire his discipline, his spirituality. He was an amazing guy. But he thought the world was going to end, rather badly. I'm trying to prevent that coming true, But I need your help. Yes, sir, please. Look, okay, I'm going to talk to Trump. I think if you leave it for the impeachment process, he will trip up himself. You don't have to waste any weapons on America. They do have, you see, the Jeffersonian democratic system, for all its flaws, does have this inbuilt love, and as Martin Luther King said it, history curves towards justice. It's a beautiful image, a bit like Einstein's idea of the curvature of light. Yes. And it is gradually curving towards justice. The most decent people in America are utterly shocked at what Trump's done. He's lost any credibility, apart from the extremist hawks. Now, if you fight back and start launching retaliatory actions, it will only make those hawks then, go up in the polls and say, look, we're right, Iran are evil. And then we go off down that whole Manichaean route. And that's what I'm trying to avoid, you see. Let's go the scholarly route. Let's go the intellectual route. And that is what it says in the Quran, isn't it? Sublimate. Give them another chance to repent, to apologise. Yes, I am going to try and get an apology from Trump. I assure you. Don't worry, it's part of this mediation. Okay, I'm going to stop there. Thank you so much, if I may call you Hassan. It's been a privilege to talk to you. Next time I get you on the line, hopefully Trump will be there, unless I've frightened him off. I'm going to try and talk in a language he understands, okay? I don't know if he does talk English very well, but we'll give it a go. Okay, wish me luck, sir. Okay, thank you so much, and I hope to talk to you in about 10 minutes' time or so. Okay, thank you. Hodafez, yes. Okay, so I think that went all right. I can't say, but I hope I didn't say anything to offend his sense of protocol and so on. And I spoke the truth, so we'll see what happens. Next, I've got to talk to Donald Trump. Now, this is going to be challenging as well from a different kind of perspective. Let's hope that he will also engage in dialogue. Right. Greetings. Hello. Yes. Is that yes. Thank you. Is that Donald Trump's secretary? Greetings. Yes, it's Thomas Daffern here. I arranged this call. That's right. Well, I'm very grateful that the president's agreed to take this call. I know it's an unusual situation for everyone. So I look forward to I'll do my best, sir. Yes. Okay, yes, please do put me through. Thank you. President Trump. Greetings. Hello, sir. Hello. Yes, thank you for agreeing to talk to me on this day, the 5th of January. Yes. Okay, yes, I know you're very busy. It must be a very difficult time for you. Yes. Well, there have been some tragic developments, haven't there, in the last few days, since Christmas of all things. when we ought to be celebrating and having a nice relaxed season. Yes, and tomorrow's Epiphany, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. It's the time when the Magi come to baby Jesus and bring all the gifts. Gold, frankincense and myrrh, that's right. Yeah, I don't know if the Presbyterians really celebrate it, but most Christians do. Yeah. Yeah, and in the Orthodox world, you know, in Russia, it's not Christmas till tomorrow, actually. We're in this limbo time. Yeah, so I would really like to deliver a good news present for the Orthodox Christians. And there are millions of them, I don't know if you know, in Iraq and Syria. Yeah, so you can call me one of the Magi ringing. Yes, well, you get my point. We have to give gifts to the children of the world. And the best gift we can give is peace, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. No, not bombs. I don't think the Magi smuggled in bombs when they came to Jesus, no. Nor terrorism. No. You see, I'm what I call a joyist. I don't believe in terror at all. Magi never do. No. Yeah, Magi. Yes, it's the word in the New Testament, isn't it? But in fact, in the Gaelic New Testament, it's called 3 Druids came to baby Jesus. Did you know that? Well, I know you've been to Scotland lots of times, but have you ever actually studied Gaelic at all? Well, it was your mother's ancestry, wasn't it? Yeah, she was Scottish, and that's right. So she would have known about the importance of Gaelic, yeah. Well, the Druid is simply a Magi within that tradition. So that's kind of where I'm coming from as a speaker here and offering to help mediate. Yeah, this is the good news before the 6th of January. Well, that's right. I know you were born in New York, weren't you? Yeah, of immigrant parents. That's right. And I was born in Montreal of immigrant parents. I mean, just up the road, yeah. I know, Canada. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you like Canada. Yeah, it's a great country. It's tries to be peaceful with all its neighbours. Yeah. And, okay, we're coming from a very different place, Donald. I mean, you're a businessman, right? You understand how deals work and contracts, and you've been a successful real estate guy. I'm not a businessman at all. I'm an academic and a scholar and a philosopher, but yeah, so I'm going to try and explain where I'm coming from in kind of business terms. You see, to me, let's think of the whole planet Earth as a bit of real estate here. If we launch World War III, if you kind of do what you're threatening and retaliate massively against Iran, if they retaliate a bit for your unleashing of this killing of Quaseem, which has really annoyed them, yeah, you knew it would, didn't you? Yeah, but I don't think you realised quite how much it would annoy them. Okay, so let's take the metaphor. So. Okay, so if we allow it to escalate, as it could do, into an exchange of nuclear weapons or whatever, yeah, let's just say Russia and China were to back Iran, which is not impossible, because they are kind of allies in a common struggle for, yeah, politically, yeah, they have said as much. I mean, they have various treaties and so on. Iran is protected effectively by the nuclear umbrella of China and Russia, yeah. You didn't realise that? You need to go and do some research on that, because they are. There's huge trading agreements and so on. Yeah, and so, I mean, it's just possible that might kick in a response from, yeah, no, you wouldn't go nuclear to begin with. No, I'm aware of that. So look, Donald, what I think would probably happen, the sequence would be something like, so if Iran attacks, let's say, you know, some targets of the Americans, yeah, and then you would do a massive escalation of missile attacks targeting whatever you said, 50 or 60 targets, yeah. Yeah, and they would go berserk. They would then do a massive retaliation. They'd probably attack Israel. They'd throw every rocket they got in the book at them. They'd probably do some damage. No, they don't. You know they don't have nuclear weapons. Of course they don't. But they've certainly got some other types of weapons, and they would use them. Yeah. Yeah, well, we know what would happen is Israel would then fight back with nuclear. She would then launch a nuclear attack on Iran, wouldn't she? And she would try and take out, you know, loads of targets. For all we know, she'd nuke Tehran and Qom and some of the great cities and so on. So at this point, you see, what's Russia and China going to do? Are they going to sit back and say, oh, well, that's fine then. Let's watch as this great civilization gets destroyed, our ally. Well, no, I think they might get involved, actually. Pakistan as well, yeah. You know, I mean, it would be a nightmare. It's like all the devils of the universe would come and gloat and watch planet Earth self-destruct. And of course, yes, if Israel is then attacked by these powers, then of course you would then attack, you would retaliate. Yeah. And, well, that's it. If you start throwing nukes around, then Russia and China do. And yeah, well, then it's the dance of death, isn't it? So from a real estate point of view, I'd just like to point out that probably property prices would fall because most of the cities of the planet would be then contaminated by radiation for many hundreds of thousands of years to come. Yeah, New York, Washington, Moscow, London, you know, kaput. No value in any of the property. All your estate holdings in America would just go like dust. Yeah. No. So from a business angle, I think, Don, you've got to agree, don't you? You hadn't thought that through before. I think you ought to think through. You see, from a business angle, nuclear war is really bad business. Yeah. Yes, it would lead to an increase in property underground, yes, and secure tenement buildings in the caves, yes. But, you know, the quality of life down there is not very good. And also there wouldn't be energy supply to these caves and things, so you'd have like troglodyte dwellings living in the cold. It'd be essentially back to Paleolithic times. We used to live like that in France about 30,000 BC. No, honestly, we don't want to go back to that. No, and look, even the Nazis didn't blow up Paris, right? No, please don't. No. So look, let's just rule off the let's say that we have to do everything we can, and that's why I'm ringing as a peace thinker, philosopher, but as a pragmatist. You know, my business is peace. Yeah, it's the root of all other trade and business. We can't have a world trade system or a world business system of any kind without peace. Well, that's very British. Yes, I know, but I was born, you know, I'm a product of British culture. That's why the British Empire, for all its sins, wanted peace. Yeah, I know, it was responsible for horrendous wars as well. I'm not going to apologise for what the British Empire did, but it did have this Pax Britannica, which was premised on this idea of free trade and so on. And I don't think Britain is going to join you in wanting World War III. I think even Boris Johnson has said as much. Yeah, I spoke to him a couple of weeks ago. He is quite intelligent. He's not so idiotic as to want to be involved in the World War III dance of death route. No. So look, I don't know how. So I hope you'll realise from a real estate point of view, it's really, really bad news. So look, I've got a question for you. Who actually advises you on intelligence? Why would you think that blowing up this senior Islamic general, Quaseem Suleiman, is a good idea? Knowing the cost of what might come. Yeah, I think you're being misadvised, Donald. Honestly, you've got to sack these people. This Minister of Defence, Pompeo, all these people are just misadvising you. I don't know what. You know, it's one of those weird things, like in an old-fashioned comedy. They're saying what they think you want to say, but you don't actually. You're not that stupid, are you? Yes, you see, I know you're not stupid. So look, use your own intelligence. Weed out these idiots. Yeah. Okay, so look, I mean, with various hats on. Yeah, I got several hats on. And one of them I just need to say up front, because you're a New Yorker, right? And I'm a New Yorker too. I love New York, right? It's on my T-shirt, right? Yeah, so ever since 9/11, I've been very angry about wanting to get to the truth of it. Yeah. And one of the reasons I thought that you were a good guy is because in your presidential campaign you said, when I get elected president, I'm going to set up a commission of inquiry. Do you remember that? Yeah, it was said all over the airwaves. And then since then, nothing. What happened, Donald? Did you lose your nerve? Thank you. Well, okay, so what I'm saying is I've taken the initiative as a historian. of setting up an international historical commission of inquiry into 9/11. I want only genuine, properly trained academic historians to be involved. And I'd love it, as president, if you could get the Organisation of American Historians and other academic bodies of historians to, put up someone that seriously wants to get to the bottom of it. A couple of people from each country of the UN system is what's planned here. No, I don't know who did it. No, I mean, do you? You mean there wasn't an envelope in the drawers of the White House when you got there with 9/11 top secret on it? Ah. Well, I think, you ought to ask around. You should set up a little commission of inquiry of your own. Get the intelligence agencies working on it. You and I know both, that it wasn't just Al-Qaeda and these 19 people with box cutters and Osama bin Laden, was it? I mean, you know that. You're not stupid. Of course you know that, and I know that. So then that means that this was a crime. It's never been tackled, never been punished properly. Yeah, precisely. That's the whole point, you see. And we all know that was used as a fake reason to invade Iraq in 2003. We watched in horror as the Bush narrative machinery pushed us into that war. Blair was obviously silenced. They had something on him, so he couldn't speak out. He knew it was wrong, but he couldn't say anything. Yeah, I think they had photos of him at some cocaine party with prostitutes in his Oxford days or something. Yeah, no, something like that. The guy was a lad. He probably, just like you are. I mean, they probably got photos on you. I mean, but it shut Blair up, you see. And that I think is wrong. I mean, of course he should have spoken out and let them publish the photos. The same with the Queen. She's like a frightened little canary in a little cage. Daren't say boo to a goose because they've got stuff on her. Well, her family, really. Yes. Oh dear, I know, but that you see, this shouldn't be allowed, should it, Donald? You see, as president, you could stop all this. You could issue a command that intelligence agents aren't allowed to do this anymore. Yeah, that would be, I think, is what Christ was saying, isn't it? I mean, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Yeah, the Sermon on the Mount. Yeah, I've been to the hill where it was given. Yeah. It doesn't say blessed are those who compile dirty secrets on people to exploit them and use to, blackmail them. No, it doesn't say that, does it? Well, you should reread it, Donald. It's actually a very good text. Yes, I've done a commentary on the Bible, on the New Testament. Yeah, you can listen to it in your... I know you don't sleep very much, do you? So in your still hours in the morning, you could listen to my commentaries on Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Thomas and Mary Magdalene. Yeah, I've done commentaries on all the 6 Gospels in the New Testament. You didn't know about Thomas and Mary Magdalene? Well, it's been kept. It's a bit of a conspiracy, you see. Just like 9/11, it's... No, we're not told the truth. Well, okay, so why did they kill Jesus? Well, precisely, we don't really know, do we? Who was really behind it? What was the conspiracy? But it was a conspiracy, wasn't it? Thank you, Don. You see, the reason why a lot of Americans like you is because you do speak your truth. It's unique, it's interestingly worded sometimes, but it is a kind of a version of truth. And it's what we call plain speaking, yeah. No, so we don't know, but we would say, wasn't it, that it was something to do with the power structures of the day. Let's call it the arms military industrial complex of the day, like Eisenhower called it, that saw Jesus as a threat because he was preaching peace and love and tranquility and harmony and philosophy and wisdom. Yeah, it was a mistake. They shouldn't have killed him. They should have just given him a chair, found an academy in Jerusalem. Oh dear, yeah, but unfortunately they didn't do it, you see. They never do. So, but you as president would have that power. You see, you're in the lineage of Thomas Jefferson here, Donald. And Thomas Jefferson was a learned man. He was on the side of the angels. Yeah. So, okay, that's why I'm trying to mediate, because I'm trying to say, look, please don't allow the hawks, the military-industrial complex, to win on this one. They want you to launch a war against Iran. They want Iran to fight you, they want you to fight them, they want Israel to get involved, they want nuclear weapons throwing around. These people are mad, crazy. Well, they are demonically inspired. I think, yeah, theologically speaking, we're talking about the need for an exorcism of these types. Yeah, that's why Mary Magdalene's gospel is so important. She was helping Jesus with exorcismic studies, we could call it. Yeah, Bruce Chilton, my friend, who's professor at Bard College, has said the same. Yeah. No, so, yes, and all I can tell you, Donald, is that in the Middle East, in Iran, in Iraq, there's this real hunger for truth about 9/11 still. It's not gone away. There's a feeling that there was a conspiracy, somebody was behind it, somebody tried to blame, Al-Qaeda, but it wasn't just them. I mean, come on, the CIA supported and founded Al-Qaeda, for God's sake. It was an American intelligence thing from day one to defeat the Russians, with Saudi help and money. So how do we know that Saudi wasn't behind 9/11 to big up the conflict because it would suit their geopolitical interests? That's right, to defame everybody and especially the Shias. Yeah, it was part of their ploy against Iran and the Shias long term. That's right, and by bringing you into 2003 into the invasion of Iraq, they thought they would take out the Shias for all time. But the Saudis, bless them, they didn't think this through, did they? And look at the silly, this Salma chap cutting up journalists. I mean, it's not good for the image, is it? No. No, it's a bit scandalous. I mean, that's the end of Saudi as any kind of moral force on the planet. Yeah. So, look, I don't know who did it, but let's say we're going to get this commission going. That would help. You see, if you and Iran, if USA and Iran said, look, actually, we want to support this idea of a commission of inquiry by senior historians into 9/11 because it would clear the air. Yeah, it would really, I think the Iranians would love that. And you as a New Yorker who wanted to know the truth, yeah, I mean, there's nothing to be gained or lost by finding out the truth. You see, truth... Okay, one of my favourite places in New York is the Cathedral of St John the Divine. Yeah, I've been there. I fell in love there, actually. That's a long story. Yeah, I love St John the Divine. And well, it's the biggest church in the Americas, right? There's a plaque on the floor there, a quote from St John, that says, "The truth shall set you free." Yeah. Yeah, that's the one of the most important sayings in the whole New Testament, yeah. And it's there on a plaque, on the floor at the Cathedral of Notre Dame there. St John the Divine, rather. Yes, and there's that wonderful sculpture outside, isn't there, of Michael wrestling with the devil. Yeah. Well, that's what we're doing. That's the time we're in. We have to be on the side of Michael and wrestle with that devil. That devil is ignorance, lies, evil. This is where it all comes from. But the Iranian people are also trying to wrestle with that devil. And the Americans and the Europeans. We all are as a planet. I've just got back from India at a conference, and that's what the Jains are doing. Only when we're victorious over those devils can we count as true Jains. Yeah, followers of truth. So let's work on this together. Let's set up that commission. Yeah. Well, I haven't asked him officially, but I think if I get him back on the phone in a minute and I say, let's do it, he might well agree. I mean, that would be the least that could come out of this mediation. Yeah, I don't know who did it. I have 20 hypotheses. Israel could have helped. Saudi Arabia could have helped. Even China could have helped. Yeah. I don't know if you realise, but China was in touch with Osama bin Laden. China had sold weapons to the Taliban through Osama bin Laden, who'd been to Beijing 3 times, apparently. According to Mossad, there's a history of Mossad that says that. They were tracking him. Yeah, and in the Tora Bora caves, what do they find? Loads of Chinese weapons. So, for all we know, Osama bin Laden went to China and said, hey guys, I'm going to blow up parts